So I've had a few comments recently of people asking the things that I use and how I set up all my equipment and the lighting to create these YouTube videos. So I figured I'd run through all the essentials that I use with you today. Now there'll be links for everything that I mentioned down in the description below. Right, let's get to it, shall we? And we're going to start off with the camera and the lens. So the camera is a Sony a6500 and the lens is a Sigma 16mm f1.4. It's a really nice lens. The focal length is perfect for this sort of situation. I'm about arm's length away from the camera and it works really well. The camera lens combo is really good with autofocus. As you can see, it tracks my face 99% of the time and focuses perfectly. So it's a really nice little setup. I'm shooting in 4K with 100 megabits as my bitrate and I shoot in 24 frames per second. It's set to manual mode. We've got 1/50th of a second shutter speed, so I'm keeping that 180 degree shutter angle, and I usually shoot between about f1.7 to f2. I like to use quite a wide open aperture because then we get this little bit of blurry background going on and it just aesthetically looks quite nice. I am using a picture profile. I'm using Cine 4 Pro. Now because the a6500 doesn't have a flippy out screen, I use an external monitor. It's an SD F5 1080p monitor, does the job, works really well. And for those interested, the mic I use is a Takstar SGC598. SGC, yeah. Dirt cheap shotgun microphone, does a really good job. There's loads of reviews online about that mic, so I'll link some of those down below for you as well. What about lighting? Well, I actually only use a single light, which is set up right here to my right hand side. It's at my sort of 2 o'clock and it's angled up a little bit just to give me some nice shadow and give me a little bit of contrast over this side of my face. Angle as well, as I say, creates shadows. It might hide that bit of chin under there. It's really close to the frame. I only have to move it a smidge and it will come into shot. Because the larger the light is in relation to your subject, the softer the light will be. So it just gives me really nice sort of fall off on this side of my face and just looks aesthetically really pleasing. This is an SD continuous light. They're available down in the description below. You can get a set of 2, so you get 2 soft boxes with light, with a front diffuser and light stands, and they're about 40 or 50 quid. There's no brightness adjustment, so it's just as is, on or off, that's your lot. Now the problem with that is, because you can't adjust the brightness, usually what I'd have to do is adjust some of my settings within my camera to make sure that this wasn't overexposed. But I want to keep a wide open aperture to do this, and I want to keep my shutter speed to maintain that shutter angle. So we use one of these. This is a variable ND filter. And as you can see, with the settings, I'm completely overexposed, I'm completely blown out. So we pop this on, like so. Rotate this, darken it. Yep. Lighten it until I'm nicely exposed. Perfect. Win-win. In terms of the background, it's just a wall. We did that wall not knowing it was going to be a YouTube background. It's just what we chose. The wallpaper. Fake bricks. Looks good though, doesn't it? And up there, we've got a selection of Lego. Lego there too. Oh, I love Lego. We love Lego in this house. Lego is the best. You see, I've got an on-air light here. This was just an off-the-shelf from my local John Lewis, which is a retail store in the UK. I don't think you can actually buy it anymore, which is a shame, because it's really nice. It just flicks on, it just gives the background a little bit of pop. Then we've got a blue light back here, which is a Viltrox RB10. Relatively affordable, I think it's about 30 quid. RGB LED lights. You can power it off a battery or standard 12 volt, plug it into the wall. You can do different colours of white, or different temperature white as well, different Kelvin, and then you've got the full range of RGB. So I just set it to blue, shove it in the background, it just gives it a little bit of pop. It looks fine without really, you'd get away with it, but I just like it. Bit of pop, looks really nice, and again, super cheap, so winner. And that is literally it. I know the camera and the lens are quite expensive, but in terms of everything else, the light, dirt cheap, the one in the background, dirt cheap. You can actually set this up for less than 100 quid in terms of all the lights that I'm using. So it's a relatively cheap, affordable, and in my view, quite a nice little setup really. So that's it, easy as that. Let's hop into DaVinci Resolve and I'll just show you what I do with the footage once I've finished recording. Into DaVinci Resolve, I'm just going to show you my project settings really quick. Timeline resolution, 1080p, timeline frame rate, 24 frames per second. I edit and export in 1080p. For my videos, I don't think there's a real benefit
to exporting in 4K. It just takes up more room and is longer to upload and that sort of thing. I like to film in 4K just because it adds an extra crispness to it. And that's literally it. I don't mess with any of the codecs or the formats. It's pretty much as standard in here. I don't convert anything using Handbrake or anything like that. I just import the media directly into Davinci Resolve. Now, all I really do with this, I don't do any additional sharpening. I don't do a huge amount to it. It's lacking a little bit in the colors. It looks a little bit low in saturation and that sort of thing. That's because I shot with the color profile. So I've set up, I'm just going to open my power bin. I've got this here, which is my home grade version 2. And it's an adjustment clip. I can just drop that on top like so. It's just got a couple of color grades in there and a bit of a vignette just to give the appearance, the aesthetic that I like. Now, I'm not going to go into that in detail. I can do that in another video if you want me to. Just pop a comment down below and let me know. I do tweak the audio, but just a little bit. So head into Fairlight. The two that I mainly use, noise reduction. I shove that on my audio track number 1. And I just set that to reset noise profile, auto speech mode. Don't really change much else in there. And then I'll use a vocal channel. Again, put that on the audio 1 channel because that's where all my dialogue is. I'll do a bit of a high pass and then tweak the frequency as required, and I usually use a bit of a compressor as well. And that's about it. Once that's done, it's ready to deliver. I can then head into deliver. And again, I do absolutely nothing fancy in here at all. I literally click H.264, change the format from QuickTime to MP4, and that's it. Don't touch anything else. Export that, upload it to YouTube, done. I leave the quality as best rather than limiting the bitrate. You absolutely can limit the bitrate and still get nice files, especially for 1080p. I just leave it as best because I don't need to worry about the storage space too much and my internet isn't that bad, so it doesn't take me too long to upload. To give you an example, got a folder here. My Bloom video I did not too long ago, that was 336 megabytes. My sub with Bell, that was just under 500 megabytes. And video in text, that was 270 megabytes. So my videos don't take up that much room, so they really don't take that long to upload. Part of the reason for that is because I've got sort of the pre-recorded screen capture, which doesn't take up anywhere as much room as the 4K stuff, which limits the files a little bit. If I've done sort of a full 10-minute vlog, they're usually around about the 1 gigabyte size, which again isn't too bad to upload, but that will depend on you and your internet speeds. Ta-da! And that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Once that video is finished exporting from Davinci Resolve, I'll upload it straight onto YouTube. No converting, no doing anything else with it at all. Straight onto YouTube. While it's uploading and processing, I'll do the titles and the description, and then I'll often head over to Canva to sort out a thumbnail as well. And that's really all there is to it. I hope this video was useful. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you've got any comments about this, questions or feedback, make sure to put them in the comments down below. And if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay safe. I'll see you next time. Bye.